Dead Art Studios. It's an art vlog. I hope you're doing well. I'm just going to show you what I've been doing. Over there, I've got the painting I've been doing with my 5-year-old daughter that was in the last vlog that I've continued. I'm having a look at that while I start a new painting over here. And what I've got is I've got some OSB board, which is orientated strand board. It's just a building material really for floors and walls and things. And I've sealed that with some MDF sealer just to stop it like chips coming away and everything, and if any moisture got in it we don't want it to blow because we want it to be nice and archival for any artwork we do. And to prime it I'm going to use, turn it around, some acrylic medium, that's some gloss medium, and I'm going to mix it in with some black. I'm just going to paint that on and seal it up that way. The idea for this one is for my bathroom window upstairs. When I go up to bed every night, on the horizon over there, which you can't see, there is some cranes, and they've all got red lights on them to stop helicopters crashing into them. And because the bathroom window's kind of got a pattern on it so you can't see through it, it makes this crazy sort of red light pattern on the top of the window shape, which is kind of portrait, and so it's really dark and black, and then there's the shimmers of the glass and the shimmers of this red. And I thought if I could do it as a sort of abstract piece but inspired by that and have the red light up at the top and then a lot of black and then maybe a bit of texture within the colours on the black as well. And I thought the textured nature of this OSB board kind of represented the window with its weird texture. It's like this glass here, but it's not. It's a bit different, but you get the idea. So the OSB kind of represents the glass, and then we get the paint on top as well. So I don't know what I'm going to use. Might use some oils and acrylics. Might use just acrylics. We'll see how we get on. And I'll probably use a technique that I used quite early on with a knitting needle, a little dragging technique, just to create little marks like brush marks, a bit like, I suppose Van Gogh used to have bigger, a lot of his paintings are made from individual strokes, that kind of idea, but a bit smaller. So I'm going to sit down and mix up some paint, and we're going to get on. Let's see if I can find a good angle. Here we are. Oh, aye, aye, aye. There we go. So I've got it raised up because we're going to do the sides and the back. So I'll just do the top and the sides now and then let it dry. Flip it over. Might need to do it twice. So I don't know if it's going to be ready for tomorrow. We'll see. But by raising it up, anything that sort of comes over this edge here doesn't stick to the board and should be nice and clean. I just have to watch that I don't overdo it because it's really easy for drips to form even when you think you've got them all. They still manage to turn up after an hour or so maybe of gravity having its way. So I've got the black paint, that's just Liquitex Basics Black, and then I'm going to add about 50-50 with the gloss medium. I wanted kind of gloss gel and I brought this and it's very runny, so I've not really been using it, so I thought this is a good way to prime it. And also gloss gel is extremely good at sticking stuff down, so that'll keep any of these like splinters that might come off, that should stick them down. And it's very archival as well, so it should make this painting last a long time. At least the board that it's on should last longer than if I just did it with gesso or something. That's the plan anyway. So mix the black in, and really we can slap it straight on. The gloss gel sort of gives it a weird sheen, but it should gloss up when it dries. Now it's quite see-through, that. That's all right because we're kind of just sealing it really, and then we can go over with just pure black acrylic at a later date. We want to keep it nice and thin. We want to get in all the holes and tap away when necessary. And I'll just sit here peacefully do this. I've been sketching this last week. Done quite a lot on the art since summer's sort of fading, even though it's beautiful September weather today. Sort of had the impetus to get out and do art. For some reason in summer with the long days, which you think would be ideal, I don't really get the impetus to do art. So, you know, I've got the garden to deal with and we're going travelling and stuff. And then as soon as the academic year starts again, you know, the daughter's back in school, and I seem to get the urge to get back on with the art. I'm addressing the sort of business side of it in my mind as well, and thinking, well, how are you gonna, you know, turn this into something that you can make some kind of money out of? Which I know it seems like a shallow motive, but to be a realistic, if you want to spend a lot of your time doing something, then in some ways you do at least have to make it pay a little bit, don't you? Okay. Now I've used this for quite a long time for art. I've done a couple of pieces on it. Some that have survived, some that have been thrown in the garage and left there. And yeah, I've got ones at my mother's house. And it's a nice material to use, and the texture in itself, I've seen people on TikTok and Instagram using it as well. And you know, it's got lots of ideas you could do with it. You can just paint the individual bits of wood. You could use liquidy paint, really thin, you know, with solvents in it if it's oil, and let that soak into all the gaps and create all sorts of kinds of interesting art with this. And of course, if you ever had to deliver it, I mean, it'll cost you a bit in postage because it's quite heavy. It ain't going to break once it's got a bit of bubble wrap around it. And what I would do is, if it's a successful piece and I don't just throw it in the bin, I'll build a frame for it. So it'll have its own little frame as well. So if this does come off as a piece of art, it'll be one of the more expensive ones that I make, because you know, it's going to have its own homemade little frame, and it's going to have to do it in a garage. It's going to take quite a long time to do that. And yeah, not quite the same as doing something on paper, at least, which a lot of what I've been putting on my shop is on. And that makes it affordable, and it makes it easy to store as well, and it allows me to iterate and repeat a lot as well without having a house full of gigantic pieces of art. And hopefully, if I do start making gigantic pieces of art, they start to sell. But as a bit of a beginner, I thought the paper was a good place to start, you know. Okay, so I'll just show you what that looks like from the top. Give it a little flick round, and then I've just got to kind of get the camera to gimbal down. It doesn't actually like going down, this camera. That's the one thing I don't like about it. There you go. So I've got that bit all kind of done. And like I say, the main sort of point of this is just to seal it so that splinters and stuff and the bits of the OSB board don't come off, because it's sort of bits of chips of wood, and they're sort of somehow orientated using some kind of mechanical or computational technique, I think, to orientate them all. I mean, it can't be that precise, can it? It's just got to be a shaker type affair, I would think, or something like that. Then it's all glued and compressed, but then what that means is the top layers can come off, and then the sides as well are quite prone to lifting. So if we seal it all up, then yeah, it should be good to paint on. A bit more gloss medium. It's all about not pouring too much on now, isn't it, so that you don't waste too much paint at the end. This big brush is sucking it up. Right, so what I'll sort of do is, I'll show you on this side, just do the top half like that a bit more, and then what will probably happen is it'll slowly start to sort of move its way down, and you know, when I've got less paint on the brush, then I can come back in and dab it. If I put the first bit of paint on it at the bottom, it's all just going to drip off everywhere underneath, and that's what we're trying to avoid. We're trying to make it nice and precise if we can, and this is a bit of a faff because I've got all these holes to do. If it doesn't go right the way to the bottom, I'm not really bothered because I'm going to turn it over and do the other side as well. So in some ways it might be better to leave it up a little bit higher so it all kind of meets in the middle. There we go. So when I've got less on the brush, then I can just kind of bring it or throw it off the little bottles that I've used to mount it on. Let's bring that way, and then do the same on this side as well. So yeah, I'm just checking in really, saying hi. I've got a deep dive video out yesterday about Jackson Pollock and is it Janet Solon? I'm forgetting. I'm terrible at names. I've never been good at them. Yeah, it's about those two guys at the beginning of abstract expressionism, and it's just going through WikiArt, which is a sub thing of Wikipedia, and just looking at other paintings, comparing them to each other, you know, because Janet, is it Janet? I think it's Janet. She was the first to do the drip technique, or at least recognised as the first person to do the drip technique, and then Pollock obviously saw it and was quite impressed by it and then ran with it. But then I'm sort of asking the question, does that mean he's a bit of a copycat, you know? But some artists are accused of being, but I don't think that's really the case with Jackson. I think he saw something he liked and then took it into his own sphere, his own direction. And yeah, maybe paint and chat later this week as well, and hopefully I'll be working on this. We'll have to see if I can get it all primed up in time. I don't really know. I mean, I'd normally do it tomorrow. No, tomorrow's Wednesday. I'd normally do it on Thursday, so we might stand a chance of having this one sort of ready to make a start on. But I'm not sure how interesting the early bits of that'll be anyway, because it's just going to be a lot of black to start with, layering it up, and probably some red as well. But you know, it's not going to be super intricate or particularly close to completion. Right, I'll just get this side here. Might do with a little bit of black. I might just put a bit more on that random piece of art that I'm did with my daughter, and continue that and see if we can turn it into something that's a bit more serious and considered. Don't really know. We'll see. Alright, I've got all four sides. I have. Stead Art Studios. I'll see you for the next video. Take care.